Hey, Frank here. Before we dive into today's topic, let me quickly tell you why I'm doing this and how I came here. I used to do therapy with people who got stuck in daily life. And at the end of every session, I'd record an audio for them based on their insights, their breakthroughs. And I'd say, listen to this every night for at least 3 weeks. That's how long it takes for your brain to rewire. But here's what's kept happening. They'd go home, put on the audio, and fall asleep. Every single time, within minutes. And then last summer, someone pulled my birth chart and pointed it out. There is something about my voice, the frequency, the rhythm, that makes people fall asleep. And I realized, this is interesting. So I started making audios, and here we are. So, anyway, let's start. So, we just moved the clock forward in Europe last weekend. 1 hour. Doesn't sound like much, right? But your body is confused. And for some of you, that confusion is showing up at 3 a.m. Wide awake again. Let me explain why. And what's actually happening in your nervous system. So, the immediate problem. Last weekend, we lost 1 hour. Spring forward. And I know what some of you are thinking. Yeah, it's just an hour. I'll adjust in a day or two. But that's not how your body works. Because your body doesn't care what the clock on your phone says. Your body has its own clock. And right now, those two clocks are out of sync. What feels like 6 a.m. to your body, when all your systems are just starting to wake up, the world is telling you it's 7 a.m. Time to be alert, time to be productive, time to be on. But your body is not ready yet. And that mismatch, that's not just annoying. That's physiologically stressful. And studies show that on the Monday after we spring forward, heart attack rates go up. Car accidents increase. Workplace injuries spike. All from 1 hour. Because your body isn't just tired. Your body is confused about what time it is. And when your body doesn't know what time it is, when your internal clock is out of sync with the external world, sleep becomes harder. A lot harder. Let's zoom into the internal clock. It's called your circadian rhythm, and it's not metaphorical. There is an actual structure in your brain, a tiny cluster of about 20,000 neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And feel free to forget that. Let's call it the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. And this little cluster of cells, it's your body's master clock. It controls when you feel alert and when you feel tired. When your body temperature rises and when it drops, when cortisol peaks and when melatonin starts flowing. It actually orchestrates hundreds of biological processes across a 24-hour cycle. And here's what's really fascinating. Your SCN doesn't need the outside world to keep time. If you put someone in a cave with no light, no clocks, no time cues, their body would still cycle through roughly 24 hours. Sleep, wake, and sleep, and wake. The cycle continues. And here's the thing. That internal cycle isn't exactly 24 hours. For most people, it's closer to 24 hours and roughly 15 minutes, which means every day your body needs to reset itself to sync with the actual 24-hour day. And the primary signal it uses? Light. Specifically morning light. When light hits your eyes in the morning, especially blue wavelengths from sunlight, it travels through your optic nerve to your SCN. And your SCN says, okay, it's daytime, let's start the cycle. It signals your body to stop producing melatonin and starts ramping up cortisol to increase your body temperature. All the things that make you feel awake. And about 14 to 16 hours later, when light fades, your SCN signals the opposite. Time to wind down. Time to produce melatonin. Time to sleep. This system has been evolving for millions of years. It's incredibly precise and also incredibly sensitive to disruption. But what disrupts it? So, back to last weekend. We moved the clock forward, but your SCN didn't get that memo. Your body woke up this morning at what felt like 6 a.m. But the clock says 7. And tonight, when your body gets tired at what feels like 10 p.m., when your SCN says it's time to wind down, the outside clock will say, no, it's 11. Which means your body is going to bed later than your body wants, and waking up earlier than your body is ready. And it takes about a week for your SCN to adjust, sometimes longer. But during that week, sleep gets worse before it gets better. You're tired during the day, but wired at night. Because your circadian rhythm and your schedule are fighting each other. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't about daylight saving time. This is happening to most of us, every single day. Because modern life is constantly disrupting your circadian rhythm. Let me give you some examples. Screens at night. Think of your phone, your laptop, your TV. They all emit blue light. The same wavelength that tells your SCN it's morning. So when you're scrolling at 10 p.m., your brain thinks it's 8 a.m. Your SCN delays melatonin production, keeps cortisol higher than it should be. So you stay wired. Another thing is irregular schedules. Going to bed at different times, waking up at different times, sleeping in on weekends. Every time you shift your schedule by more than an hour or two, you're basically giving yourself jet lag. A social jet lag, they call it. Your body never fully syncs. It's always playing catch up. Another thing is indoor living. Most of us spend our days inside. Artificial light is bright enough to see by, but it's not bright enough to properly set your circadian rhythm. Morning sunlight is about 10,000 lux. And indoor lighting, maybe 500 lux. So your SCN gets a weak signal, a confused signal. It doesn't know if it's day or night. And then in the evening, we flood ourselves with artificial light. So the signal gets even more confused. And the result? Your circadian rhythm drifts. Your body doesn't know what time it is based on all the different lights. And when your body doesn't know what time it is, it doesn't know when it's safe to sleep. So, why this all matters for sleep? Because here's the thing. Sleep isn't just about being tired. You can be exhausted, completely drained, and still not be able to fall asleep. Because sleep requires two things: sleep pressure and circadian alignment. Sleep pressure builds throughout the day. Every hour you're awake, a chemical called adenosine accumulates in your brain. So, adenosine makes you feel tired, sleepy, that sleep pressure. And by the end of the day, you have a lot of it. But sleep pressure alone isn't enough. You also need your circadian rhythm to signal, it's nighttime. Your body temperature needs to drop slightly, and melatonin needs to start flowing. Cortisol needs to be low. And when those systems align, high sleep pressure plus circadian nighttime signal, sleep comes naturally. But when they're out of sync, you get this. You're exhausted, high sleep pressure, but your circadian rhythm is still saying, it's daytime, stay alert. So you're tired, but wired. Or the opposite. Your circadian rhythm says, it's nighttime, let's take a rest now. But you haven't built up enough sleep pressure yet. So you're calm, but not sleepy. In either way, sleep doesn't happen. And this is what a lot of people with insomnia are dealing with. Not a broken sleep system, a misaligned circadian rhythm. A body that doesn't know what time it is. Now, spring versus autumn. And this happens twice a year with the clock changes. Spring forward, autumn backward. And spring forward hits harder because you're losing sleep. Your body wakes at what feels like 6 a.m., but the outside clock says 7. And you're already behind. And when you fall back, it's easier because you gain 1 hour. Your body wakes up what feels like 7, but the outside clock says it's just 6 a.m. Extra sleep. And your body loves that. But less sleep, your nervous system starts to panic. Because remember, sleep is when you're most vulnerable. So when you're sleep deprived, when you've lost 1 hour, your nervous system compensates by staying more alert, more vigilant, which makes it even harder to fall asleep. And it becomes a vicious circle. And it takes about a week to break that circle. And some people, they adjust in 3 or 4 days. And some people take 10. It depends on how flexible your circadian rhythm is. And how consistent your sleep schedule was before the change. Now, what actually helps? What can you do about it? How can you reset your internal clock? Here's what actually works. Morning light. This is the single most powerful tool you have. Get outside within an hour of waking up, ideally within 30 minutes. Even if it's cloudy, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Morning sunlight, actual sunlight, not through a window, sends a strong signal to your SCN. It's daytime, so you can start the cycle. This anchors your circadian rhythm. It tells your body when to be awake, and by extension, when to be asleep 14 or to 16 hours later. And if you can't get outside, sit by a bright window or use a 10,000 lux light therapy box for 20 to 30 minutes. It's not as strong as sunlight, but it helps. Now, more about the consistent wake time. This is more important than consistent bedtime. Your body can handle going to bed at different times. But waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, keep your circadian rhythm stable. It gives your SCN a reliable anchor point. Even if you had a bad night, wake up at your usual time. You build more sleep pressure during the day and sleep better the next night. And dim the lights at night. 2 or 3 hours before bed, start lowering the lights in your home. Use lamps instead of overhead lights. Warm tones instead of bright white. And if you're using screens, turn on the blue light filters or wear blue blocking glasses. The goal is to let your SCN know the day is ending and it's time to start winding down. Another important thing is temperature. Your body temperature naturally drops at night as part of your circadian rhythm. You can support this by keeping your bedroom cool, around 16 or 17 degrees Celsius, somewhere around 64, 66 Fahrenheit. Or take a warm bath or shower an hour before bed. When you get out, your body temperature drops slightly. That signals to your SCN, nighttime is here. And give it time. After a clock change or any disruption to your schedule, like a long-haul flight, it takes about a week for your body to adjust. And don't panic if sleep is rough for a few nights. That's normal. Your circadian rhythm is recalibrating. But stick with consistent wake times. Get morning light and keep nights dim. And your SCN will sync back up. So if you're lying there at 2 or 3 a.m. right now, thinking, why can't I sleep? It might not be insomnia. It might just be that your body doesn't know what time it is. And the solution isn't to try harder to sleep. The solution is to give your body clear signals. Morning light, it's daytime. Dim nights, it's nighttime. And consistent wake time. This is the rhythm. Your circadian system is very powerful, but it needs your help. And when you give it the right signals, when your internal clock syncs with the world around you, sleep stops being something you fight for. It becomes something that just happens, naturally, the way it's supposed to. I hope that helps. My name is Frank, and I wish you sweet dreams from Amsterdam.